Wanted to talk real quick. Was at church today. Our pastor was talking about being content in life, and how if we are discontent in life, how that can lead us down the wrong path. And so a few things that I was taking from that as I was sitting there listening to our pastor today is, number one, to continuously be open. For you, if you're watching this video, be open to me and the message that I'm talking about, and what are you hearing for yourself? What I'm saying is not gospel by any means. It is my take on a certain topic from different experiences that I've had, and different thoughts and opinions that I have on this actual topic of being content, and which is what also led me to just realizing that I think a lot of people go to church, or whether it's at school or in your profession, in the finances, we have someone that is an authority figure that we kind of place above ourselves, and sometimes the thought is that we shouldn't question their message, or maybe we shouldn't necessarily take everything that everyone says to us as 100% gospel and correct. It's okay to keep your eyes and your ears open, and to take your experiences and your perspective and put it into that, and have good conversation, really. Not that you need to go rogue and find a new church because you disagree with your pastor. And it's not that I necessarily 100% disagree with everything that he was saying. Just has some different thoughts or takes on this idea of content. And he was talking about today, being content in life, which I definitely agree, how it can lead us down different paths of constantly wanting bigger and better materialistic things. Could be always wanting to keep up with the Joneses and this comparison game with those around us. He also talked about how there was a study, with people that the more time you spend on Facebook, the less happy you are, or the less happy people are. And that, again, I think that kind of goes to that comparison game. You're constantly comparing yourself with other people's lives, and what they're actually putting on Facebook. We know from even our own personal lives and what we put on Facebook is that it's not always 100% true and correct. Hey, what's up, dog? Got a little dog on the walk here, neighbor dog. But going back to being content, and part of what he was saying, or what I was hearing, was that we should just be content with everything that we have in life, and which I could kind of take, and I think a lot of other people could take, is to say that we shouldn't be striving for bigger and better. He goes in to talk about how it is important to be grateful for what you have, and I absolutely 100% agree with that. And I think that's where complacency can come into the conversation. It's really a conversation of being content or complacent. I think when we're content, we're grateful. When we're complacent, we can become ungrateful. We could take what we have for granted, and that's when I think we can start to go down that path. Whether it's your family, your relationship, your marriage, just taking for granted the time that you have with your kids, and then before you know it, they are graduating high school and going off to college, and you realize that all that time that you thought that you would have to spend with them is gone because you're complacent, or your marriage is continually deteriorating, and before you know it, she's gone. Or you're complacent in your business, happy where you're at, and you take your foot off the gas pedal, and before you know it, your finances are starting to go down and down, and you don't realize it until it's too late. Same thing in our body. We can be complacent with what we're at, or where we're at, or we can be comfortable, or just lazy and not want to do the work. And so we're ungrateful, and I think that's the difference in discontent or complacency versus when we are content. We are grateful for what we have, but we are also intentional to continually get bigger and better, to grow, to become a better father, a better husband, to continually grow our business, or to keep our just to keep an eye on what it is that we have going on in our business so that it doesn't start to backtrack on us. So that we can continually be intentional about working out on our fitness, so that we have the body that we want, so that we have the health that we need to spend that time with our family and to live a nice, long, prosperous life, a life that we can ultimately use to help and serve as many other people as we can. And so, as I wrote this book, Live Your Legacy, it's all about being intentional, being content with the things that you have, but also being intentional in order to continue to grow so that you can serve others, serve more people, help more people, so that you can be there for your family in the long run as far as your fitness goes, so that you can take care of them financially, and so that you can use some of those resources to help other people along the way as well. And so I think really what being content is all about is being grateful and intentional, not necessarily staying where we are at, but actually continuing to keep what we've got and continuing to try to get a little bit better. If it's our relationship with God, it's continuing to get closer and have this deeper relationship with Him. Not to be content on where it's at, but to continually try to get to know Him a little bit better. And so I think that's really what my pastor was talking about. Not necessarily that we shouldn't strive to do better, to serve more people. If that was the case, our church wouldn't have put on a $3 million addition over the last, 5 or 10 years ago, that has given the church the opportunity to serve more people, to hold more events, and to do more things for our community, as well as the city and the surrounding community. And had they been complacent and just stayed where they were at, we wouldn't be able to do some of those things that they've been able to do over the last 5 to 10 years. So would be interested to hear any of your thoughts out there on this conversation on being content versus complacent and continuing to be intentional, and how that it is okay to continue to grow and to expand. And if we truly don't, that is when we can truly start to go down the wrong path that takes us down into broken marriages and broken bank accounts and broken businesses and disconnection with our faith or our God and all the other things that can happen in life if we're not intentional yet still grateful for what we have.